beach report. This evening's beach report. There will be no sunset beach report tonight because there's no sun out there. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. Yeah, it's not good weather today. It was raining all day long and cloudy skies, so I don't think the sunset is going to be worthy. Instead, we're going to talk about a topic that is very important here in America, where we have seen a lot of people die because of this horrible drug called fentanyl. So, Jeanine Pirro is in the government now, working for President Trump. I'm not sure she Attorney General, what her title is, but I just know she's there. Hi, Spirit. Spirit, what is Jeanine Pirro's title right now? Anyway, I have a video for you that I want to show you to prove that America is definitely being made great again, MAGA. And by the way, Spirit, only hat I have that hat and I have this hat. So these are the only two hats I have with me. Hi, Laura. Well, you never know who will be watching. So yes, let's wait for the audience and see who will come on. But I do want to talk about the fentanyl crisis because it is a crisis and it has hit Washington, D.C. especially hard. U.S. Attorney for D.C. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So she's the attorney for Washington, D.C. And boy, is she cleaning up Washington, D.C. and making D.C. great again. So we're waiting for people to come on. We're going to talk a little bit about the fentanyl crisis. I didn't do this research. I let the AI do it, which is very helpful. People get all crazy about AI and they're scared of it. And I understand that, but I think you have to work with it. You can't let it do the work for you. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, I will repeat myself. Don't worry, Spirit. I'm good at that. But anyway, yeah, when it comes to AI, you don't have to be super scared of it because in a lot of ways it is very helpful. And for instance, as a writer, it helps me to maybe research something that I need to look up, or it will help me to, it'll, give me some ideas for a headline, or maybe help me edit something that I'll just like throw it out there and it'll do something and it'll, and it always has problems. Like it is always wrong. The AI won't, if you try to tell the AI a story, like say you want to do a biography about yourself and you want the AI to help you write it, right? And that's a good thing to do. But you'll give it a bunch of information and it'll come up with some wild stories about you. And you'll be like, where did you get that from? Like, no, I was never a race car driver. It's crazy. Sometimes I work with Grok, sometimes I work with Chat GPT, and lately I've been working with Copilot. Now, Copilot's been really helpful for me as I learned to become a book publisher, and I just published this book all by myself. It's beautiful. It's about a man named Joshua. Actually, here, let me read the back to you. Apathy's silent toll. Joshua's childhood memories are brutal. The horrors he and his siblings survived will disturb some. For others, they will ring heartbreakingly true. And then here's a quote from a reader. This isn't just a memoir, it's a gut punch and a lifeline. How could one person endure so much and still stand tall? By the time I reached the last chapter, I wasn't just reading Joshua's story, I was questioning my own excuses, my own limits. This book doesn't just inspire, it dares you to face your own fight and win. I love that. So, hi, Mark. Good to see you back. It's nice to see friendly faces because, as you guys know, whenever I do my shows with President Trump or Carolyn Levitt, I seem to attract a lot of trolls. And also lately, thank you guys, I have gone well over 5,000 subscribers. I think I'm at like 5,500 and maybe 5,600 or something like that. Anyway, a lot. Well, thank you, Robert. You guys are so nice. Yeah, really tough crowd, Mark, but you know, we all had to deal with it. And I was talking to Spirit, and we decided to, yes, Pablo, exactly, to ignore the trolls and to just kind of let them go off. Do a little sparring with them just for fun. But seriously, thank you so much, Mark. We do need to ignore these crazy trolls and not let them stop what we're doing. There are a lot of dumb people out there for sure, but you know, they show us who they are. And it's kind of interesting to find out what they're thinking. But usually, I think it really is like bots, especially the ones that keep saying the same things like lies, 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 or they'll say Epstein files, like they just can't stop with that. It's a lot of self projection, exactly. Casey, are you calling me a fake Christian? I'm not a fake Christian. I'm a Jew. I was born and raised a Jew, but well, actually, I was born a Christian, and then I was raised a Jew, and I was converted to Judaism when I was a little tiny baby. So, yeah, yeah, you know, I love it when people come on and they tell me that I'm fake, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm fake. Yeah, all right. Whatever you want to think, you go ahead and you think it. Again, I'm not sure that half of the people or the whatever, the bots or the things coming to attack me are real. Are you paid? I mean, what are you getting out of it? You know, what makes you, what does it make you feel good to like come on someone's show and just start hurling insults at them? Is that something that is fun for you, or are you getting paid to do it, or really what's going on here? Because if you're trying to hurt me, it's not possible. You know, I have no idea who you are. Exactly, Mark. I just can't take it. I'm just like, what is up here? Hey, Brenda. And you know, here's the other thing about the beach report. For every 10 trolls, we've got somebody who has been following me for 10 years, just watching and waiting for you to say something they don't like, and boom, you're out of there. I think I've got like 10 mods on here, so Casey thinks they're getting paid. Yeah, something's going on, and it's something not kosher, but at the same time, I'm going to kind of use it to my advantage. So thank you, Mark. I'm glad that you love my beach reports, because you know, there is no other beach report like this show anywhere else in the world, because I'm the only one. Oh, Casey's getting paid. How much are they paying you, Casey? Oh man, it's amazing what people get paid to do these days, really. Anyway, you know, I'm a legitimate journalist. There is nothing fake about me. I don't even wear makeup, okay? Look, zero makeup. This is my hair color. I wear my MAGA hat, you know, to cover up my gray. No, I'm joking. I don't care. I like my gray. I'm happy with it. So you get what, $10 per troll. Um, you see kids hot pockets. $10 what, to troll me? You're getting paid $10. Well, could you share the love and like send me what's that called, a super chat or something, you know, like help a girl out. Yeah, I've been doing this on YouTube now for about a year, and I feel like I am finally starting to gain a little bit of momentum and have people watching. And thank you, Clyde. Everyone tells me the gray looks good, so I'm going to totally believe you. It's funny. My hair's dyed itself. My hair used to be chocolate brown. I was raised a brunette, and now all of a sudden, sometimes in the sun and in the light right now, it almost looks blonde. We can dream, but I don't care. I'm going to be 60 years old, and guess what? I'm super proud of it. I'm so happy to be 60 years old. I feel like, yes, I'm a fake preacher. Yes, I feel like a fake preacher. It's so great. What is wrong with you, Casey? I don't know. I think we're gonna have to take Casey down. I don't want Casey making $10 every time we post. So Casey just got sent to, wait a minute. Yeah. Was it Casey? I got Casey off, right? Okay, good. Casey needs to go meet my gators hanging out in the backyard over there. Yeah, Casey's gone, Spirit. No time for that. So anyway, I love my hat. I love my hat, Patrick, and I love my country, and I want it to be great again. So I don't know what you think is horrible about it. Maybe you just hate my country. I don't know. You certainly hate my president, and that's pretty sad. And I'll sack you too if you say something else nasty about me. Oh, you people. Oh, my, my. All right. Anyway, before we really get started with this show, I do want to give you some statistics about fentanyl in Washington, D.C. Fatal fentanyl involved overdoses have been a significant issue in Washington, D.C., and the city has been experiencing one of the highest opioid mortality rates in the whole country. The following is a summary of the most recent data available. I got this from the AI, okay? So, hi, nobody. Yes, we love Trump. Okay. Okay, you want the badge of honor, B. Patrick? There you go. Sacked. Yes, I'm the lady streaming from the pier. Exactly, Tyrannosaur. I am. I am also a political pundit. I'm a journalist. I was never a political journalist. I was always school district and municipal, nothing majored, but I did write a book out of it. Yeah, this book right here. I wrote that book. It's about the way 9/11 changed our society. So stay tuned also to the Beach Report on 9/11 because we will be in Shanksville, Pennsylvania on 9/11, where Flight 93 went down. And that is going to be a very interesting show. Okay, so the District of Columbia has had close to 400 opioid-related deaths per year, which has contributed to the city's high opioid mortality rate. The presence of fentanyl and its analogs in opioid overdose cases has steadily increased. By 2018, fentanyl or a fentanyl analog was involved in 86% of opioid overdose cases in the city. The United States has seen a little bit of decline in national overdose deaths, but progress has not been uniform across all demographics or regions. In late 2023, some groups saw declines. The opioid death rate for DC was 49.9 per 100,000, which is significantly higher than most other states. Oh, I will show you, Mark. Well, wait, that's backwards, so hold on. I know the lighting's not that great. I'll put it in the comments so you can grab a copy. Yeah, JillBooks.com, exactly. I know, it looks better here, doesn't it? Okay, so JEANINE PIRRO has been on the job, and she's been doing something about the fentanyl. And there has been also a PCP drug trafficking organization, and she busted it. So, or the DC, I don't know how she did it, but let's find out, okay? All right, you guys, check out this video. Hold on. There's a lot of weapons that she's looking at. That's what she's looking at right now. All sorts of weapons, I think, that were taken from people. Guns, everything.
They didn't look like that. Hi, everybody. How are you? Good to have you here today. Good to be here. Anybody have a sense of humor today? All right. You can get closer. I'm not going to bug anybody.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
1 year ago today, my office, along with the Washington Field Office of the FBI, began an investigation stemming from the sale of PCP and fentanyl in Knox Place, Anacostia. This investigation is the culmination of what we call a Title III wiretap. Last week, on August 21st, my office indicted 8 individuals for PCP and fentanyl trafficking as well as conspiracy. The individuals who've been indicted are the following. 2 are from California, 1 is from Baltimore, and 5 of them are from the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Now, this morning, in a very sophisticated and almost flawlessly run operation, the FBI Washington Field Office, along with my office, executed approximately 20 residential search warrants across DC, Maryland, and Los Angeles. And I want to thank the Metropolitan Police and DEA for assisting us this morning in DC, Maryland, and Los Angeles as well. Now, at present, there are 12 individuals who have been arrested. 7 of the 8 indicted individuals, there is still 1 fugitive on a sealed indictment. 5 additional defendants have been arrested this morning as a result of the operation. The facts. The DC-based drug traffickers sold PCP and fentanyl in and around the 2900 block of Knox Place Southeast. You may or may not be familiar with that area, but it is a neighborhood that has experienced an inordinate amount of violent crime, including 5 homicides, at least that we know of, with other violent crimes in the past year. The DC-based narcotics traffickers sourced their narcotics through Baltimore, and there was a co-conspirator who in turn was importing narcotics from California. So this included a 17-gallon, that's what I said, a 17-gallon shipment of PCP that was intercepted outside of Topeka, Kansas earlier this year. And today's seizures and search warrants included 18 firearms that you see in front of me right now, including an AR-style rifle, a shotgun, a Draco-style pistol, as well as, I don't know if we have this in front of you, in addition to the weapons seized, a fentanyl pill press. And we also seized approximately 2 kilos of narcotics that include powdered fentanyl, cocaine, as well as cocaine-based crack. The crimes: conspiracy to distribute narcotics, a felon in possession of a weapon, possession of a firearm in furtherance of drug trafficking, and 1 individual defendant was an alien who was deported 3 times, and he was in possession of a firearm. He's also charged with illegal reentry. Now, we use Title III to identify the suppliers, 1 individual by the name of Thomas Hancock from Baltimore. The source of his supply was an individual from Los Angeles. And this is what the violent crime and narcotics trafficking section of my office does on a daily basis. And what we do are long-term investigations, and they have a very maximum impact given the amount of time that we invest in these cases. Doug Hennig, to my left, is in charge of the violent crime and narcotics trafficking section. What we do is we work our way up the chain, which is what all prosecutors look to do, and we did just that. We got some major prolific drug dealers based not just on what we saw, but our undercovers were buying an incredible amount of drugs, which tells us that the sale of drugs to people in the communities in the DC, Virginia, Maryland area was an incredible amount. So I would like to identify now for you the individuals who have been arrested. Thomas Hancock, 43, of Baltimore, Maryland. Eric Prather, 43, of Washington, D.C. Reginald Lassiter, 39, of D.C. Leonard Edwards, 52, of D.C. Darrell Riley, 39, of Washington, D.C. Michael Thomas, 49, of Los Angeles. And Sardis Smith of Oxon Hill, Maryland. Now, in addition, we have 5 other individuals that we picked up, pursuant to what we saw today. They are Jerika Missouri, 35, Melvina Rawlings, 40, Damian Petty, 54, Antoinette Lane, 64, along with Terrence Boyd, 42. This is what the president is talking about. This is part of our cleaning up the district and the nation's capital. And although it didn't happen in one night, these arrests, all 12 of them, and the seizure of all these weapons indicate the seriousness of crime that is occurring in our community. And we need all the help that we can get to make sure that we make the arrests and that we continue going into court with solid cases where we can get convictions and appropriate sentences. And I want to thank all my partners here, as I said, from DEA and the MPD, and Chief Smith is here from the Metropolitan Police. But I particularly want to thank Phil Banks from the Washington Field Office, the ADIC in charge of the FBI, who was with us from day one on this long-running investigation.
Thank you, U.S. Attorney PIRRO. I'm Phil Bates. I'm the Acting Assistant Director in charge of the FBI's Washington Field Office. I'm grateful to be here with you today to highlight an example of the FBI's work to crush violent crime in our communities. Over the last year, the FBI led an investigation into this violent drug trafficking ring based in Southeast D.C. The subjects distributed large amounts of fentanyl, cocaine, and PCP throughout the region. Their network stretched from coast to coast, as Judge PIRRO outlined, including couriers and suppliers in Baltimore and in California. Today, alongside our federal and local partners, we executed searches and arrests at 20 locations in D.C., Maryland, and in California. We arrested 12 individuals and seized over 2 kilograms of narcotics, a pill press, more than $50,000, and 18 guns. That's 12 violent drug traffickers and 18 firearms that are no longer on our streets. These arrests are the result of collaboration between the FBI's Washington Field Office, our partners at the DEA, and our partners at the Metropolitan Police Department. This also includes our FBI offices in Baltimore, Richmond, and Los Angeles, who provided valuable support to this investigation. With this morning's arrest, our communities are safer than they were yesterday. By combining our local and federal resources and sharing crucial intelligence, we can rid our neighborhoods of illicit drugs and dismantle dangerous drug trafficking organizations. We vow to continue to target drug traffickers and violent offenders to ensure our nation's capital is safe for its residents, the workers who come here each day, the members of our community, and the visitors who enjoy this. Thank you.
All right. Questions? Yes, sir.
On the topic of violent crime, the president said today that anybody who murders somebody Washington, D.C. will have the death penalty against them. Is this something that is going to happen in your office?
Well, absolutely. I think that when the president came in, the attorney general indicated that we would be seeking the death penalty in appropriate cases. And obviously, there is a whole process that we go through. And a couple of weeks ago, with the capital murder, the murder of the two individuals from the Capitol Museum, we indicated what that process is. It's a very deliberative process, but we will absolutely be following the president's directive, and it ultimately is in the hands of the attorney general who makes that decision.
Just a follow-up, Judge, DC has abolished the death penalty. That capital case is a federal case. When we're talking about murder, one of other cases in DC, how does your office plan to get around that issue and the fact that the judges are also potentially unlikely to want to impose that?
Well, I think it's really up to a jury. As opposed to the judges. And I think that what the public is seeing is that Washington has been far too violent. One of the most violent cities, unfortunately, in the country. And it is time that we recognize that law and order is back in D.C. and that we will use all legal sanctions and sentences as called for by law.
Your office has had trouble in the last couple of weeks with an alleged assault case having the grand jury refuse to indict on the charges. Does that any sense of how juries in this city are going to deal with the crackdown that you're doing? And also in reference to the president's announcement on death penalty, DC hasn't had a death penalty trial, I think, since 2003, and the jury rejected it. So how do you plan to deal with that aspect of your practice?
Well, first of all, to answer your last question, we're going to follow the law, the deliberative process, present the evidence, recognize that the law does permit us to do this. Whether DC is inclined to do it or not, it's not a political issue. This is an issue that is, sanctioned by the law and gives us the power to do that. If not us, then who? And, as it relates to grand juries, the only thing that I can say is we are prosecutors. We are the tip of the spear. We are the ones who take these cases into court, and the burden is on us to prove these cases. And we welcome that burden beyond a reasonable doubt. Sometimes a jury will buy it, and sometimes they won't. So be it. That's the way the process works. Yes, sir.
Justice PIRRO.
No, I'm a judge. I'm not a justice. I'll never be a justice.
Some justice.
Thank you.
We see these violent traffickers that were taken off the street. This juxtaposed a little bit with the fact that there was a murder in D.C., in Anacostia last night.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Expanding on that a little bit, we saw, the president, vice president, a number of different individuals saying that the streets have never been safer. But there was a murder last night, and I just would love your thoughts.
I have to give the president kudos for everything he's doing. No one has been the resources of law enforcement, federal and local. The DEA, the FBI, the marshals, the park police, the Capitol Police, the Metro Police. I'm sure I'm leaving someone out. But that is a scenario that we should all be grateful for because it puts us in a position of making us safer. Are people going to commit crimes? Of course they are. But I think everyone in this room knows that there is a small percentage of individuals who commit the violent crimes and who repeatedly do it, especially in an area where, there's no such thing, as bail. And so what we've got to do is try to identify who those people are, take them out of the community based upon their criminal acts and the law and the evidence to make this place safe. Are we going to make it perfectly safe? God, I hope we can. No one other than President Trump has put the resources, the effort, the energy into doing this. How much more are we going in this?
I have one about D.C. crime. Just a question in general. We heard you say before, and we've heard the Fraternal Order Police say we need more officers. About 600 shy of what we were when our homicides were 80 here in D.C. But the president also has said, conversely, hey, 3,100 is enough officers. But now you're seeing a surge of federal officers, and we're seeing things like this. How do you respond to that sort of cognitive dissonance between him saying, you got more than enough officers, but this seems to be yielding things?
Well, you know, I leave it up to the president to make the decision as to how many people and how many officers we need to put in this district. I mean, what we're trying to do is, you know, it's almost like, it's, I don't want to use the word, but we are a microcosm of the country. And if this is what it takes to clean up crime, and I was devastated this morning when I found out there was a homicide last night, because we were counting every day, no homicide. Are people going to be evil? You're damn right they're going to be evil. Are they going to continue to commit crime? Absolutely. But we're not in every house. We're not in every, you know, in every store. But we're going to do the best thing that we can do. And the president is doing just that and providing resources. What the upshot and what the final analysis is up to the president.
This is sort of a process question.
These are the ones I hate.
There have been a lot of announcements of arrests and a lot of numbers coming to go to the White House.
Yeah.
And then also numbers of people who were found illegal, right? In this case, one of these guys here. When somebody is found in the district, part of this, is here illegally, but has committed some sort of crime.
Yeah, I know the question.
Are they automatically
It depends.
by the immigration authorities?
It depends. You know, I don't know if you would answer that differently. I mean, you know, sometimes we will go forward with the case and other times they'll be deported immediately. You know, it depends on the severity of the case. It depends on the situation. You know, right now, this guy who legally entered and is part of a huge drug trafficking conspiracy, as you can see from this, you know, I imagine he's going to be deported. But then he's been deported 3 other times. So you tell me what should happen. Should he be deported or should he be put in jail?
Not paid enough to make this.
You know what? I'll leave it at that. Okay, everybody.
Question for the acting deputy director, if you have a moment.
Come on, Phil, you take it.
Well, the first question is for you, Judge, about
Why?
body cams. There's a recent call for the National Guard to wear body cams. Do you think, given the fact that MPD wears them, your office relies on body cam footage in cases sometimes critical? Do you think the National Guard's members who are here should be having to wear body cam footage given their de facto law enforcement role?
Well, I don't know what the arguments are, pro and con on that. I really haven't been involved. But I think the more transparency there is in criminal cases, the better off we all are. Do you want to answer that? No,
I
huh?
had a separate question for you, sir. The Washington field office is looking on Sixth Street right now, given the surge. Were the same officers who were investigating this case throughout the past year and especially in the last 3 weeks, some of the ones who were also on the street working literally 24/7?
Yeah, we have agents from across the office and across the region who are working to supplement our partners on the task force on a daily basis. I won't get into the specifics of who worked which investigation, but yes, we're supplementing and resourcing the various teams that are out on the streets on a daily basis.
Judge, with that question.
No, I think we're done. Okay. Thank you. You want to take a picture of the guns? Thank you, everybody. Have good- What'd you say?
Listen to this.
Are you being sent to Maryland?
Are you going to be sent to Maryland or if you come overcrowded?
The last thing I'm worried about is an overcrowded jail, okay? The thing I'm worried about is the people in D.C. who feel like they're in jail because the criminals are running around and they don't have a choice to walk the streets or come out of their apartments. Thank you.
That's it. And there you have it. Making Washington, D.C. safe again. I love it. You know, have you ever been a victim of a crime, violent crime, like mugging or anything like that? Well, I have, and more than once. I was living in Fort Lauderdale the first time I got mugged, and actually it wasn't just being mugged, they were trying to kidnap me. This was about 10 years ago, and the only thing that saved me was my big mouth screaming, call 911 like a banshee. And they tried to put me in a car, but they could see that I was not going to be easy to deal with, and I was very loud. So they threw me out of the car and saved my life. Anyway, I think it's amazing that this administration is actually doing something about the crime, not just in Washington, D.C., but all over, yes, hallelujah indeed, but all over the country. And especially the fentanyl and the PCP, I like PCP is even still a thing. I didn't know that it was, but we all know that fentanyl has been a huge problem and has been a scourge in our society. And it all comes through open borders. So I think it's really great that President Trump is doing things to keep this country safe, to make it safe again. And I think it was definitely worth repeating the Flamingo Angel. What's Flamingo Angel? Is that Jeanine Pirro? I don't know. What is that Flamingo Angel? Anyway. Oh, hey, Elvis. Roman. So good to see you. He calls me Peanut. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that President Trump's administration is definitely hard at work and doing things to keep us safe, to make America safe again, make America healthy again, and make America great again. So I'm super proud of him. And I know that those of you who are still watching right now are proud of him too. It's interesting. Hi, Eric. How I get these trolls coming on, and man, they're just great. Tonight we had some fun ones though. Betty and Mel, Alyssa, they were fun. They were hilarious at the end. So thank you for participating, you guys. We had a good time with you. All right. Anyway, I am going to say ciao for now, and I will see you on the next beach report. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye.